Salutation to all our future judges. In this video, we are going to see the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, Part 7, Sections 22 to 26. I hope you have seen the earlier parts, that is Part 1 to Part 6. If you have not seen those parts, please go and see those parts. I am providing the link of the playlist in the description. If you have not seen Part 6, I am providing the link of Part 6 in the iCard. Please watch Part 6, then you can start watching this Part 7 so that you get a better understanding of the provisions of law in this Civil Procedure Code. Let us see Section 22. This particular section deals with the power to transfer suits which may be instituted in more than one court. Imagine there is a property and there is a dispute with respect to that said property between many parties, and the property lies within the jurisdiction of three different courts. It's a very big property and it is covered under three different courts, and you can file the case in any one of the three courts. In that case, imagine the three courts are A, B and C. You are going and filing the case in court A. Then the defendant, he will give a notice to the other parties, that is you, and if you have any other plaintiff along with you, to all of you, and to the other defendants as well, if there are other defendants, at the earliest possible opportunity. And in all cases, it can be done either at the time of settling the issues or before the settlement of issues. Then he has to apply to the court, seeking the court to transfer the suit to say court B or C. You have filed it in A. Maybe he wants it in court B or C. And after this application, the court will consider the objections of the opposite party. That is your objection or the other plaintiffs with you and the other defendants. Then, after considering all the objections of the parties, the court will decide in which court this case should be transferred, or whether the court to which the defendant is asking the case to be transferred can be transferred, whether it has got the jurisdiction. Imagine in the example what we took, the defendant is say asking the case to be transferred from A court to B court. Then the court will see whether B court is entitled or is competent or is having jurisdiction to entertain this case. Then if there is a reasonable point which needs to be considered for transfer, then the court will transfer. Let us move to section 23. Generally, to what court you will file the application for transfer? You are planning to file an application for transfer. Then in which court you will file this application? That question is answered in this particular section, that is section 23. 23 subclause 1. If there are different courts having jurisdiction which are subordinate to a common appellate court. Imagine there are three subordinate courts A, B and C, and there is a common appellate court to these three courts, which is D. D is the appellate court, and beneath that appellate court you have A, B and C, three courts. Then an application under section 22 shall be made to the appellate court, that is court D. Let us move to 23 subclause 2. Imagine there are two appellate courts A and B. These are two different appellate courts, and under A you have C and D, two subordinate courts, and under B you have E and F, two subordinate courts. Now a person wants to transfer his case from court C to F, and where he will file an application, that is the question. In this case, the appellate courts A and B come under the same high court. There is a high court beneath which you have the appellate courts A and B. Then this person who wants to get this case transferred can file an application to the high court. That is said under section 23 subclause 2. Let us move to 23 subclause 3. If these courts are subordinate to different high courts, then what will be the scenario? Then the application shall be made to the high court where the suit was actually instituted. Imagine the suit is instituted in Kerala High Court. And now we want to take it to another court in, say, Tamil Nadu. In that case, what we have to do? Then we have to file a transfer petition in the Kerala court because the suit was initially filed in Kerala. That is what is stated in 23 subclass 3. Then we are going to see section 24, general power of transfer and withdrawal. 24 subclass 1. Let us move to section 24, general power of transfer and withdrawal. What are the requirements under this section? If a case is to be transferred, if a suit is to be transferred, what are all the requirements and who can do it? All these aspects are discussed in this particular section. Let us see what are the important things which we need to understand in this particular section. The first basic point is there should be an application by any of the parties. 1. And if there is an application, notice should be given to the other parties. Then the third thing is they all should be heard. After this, the court can decide the petition. This is first aspect. Second aspect is if the court feels that there is a necessity, then the court can on its own motion, or we can call it a suo motu, without notice. That is very important. In preliminary exam, they might ask a question that if the court is doing something on its own motion, should it give notice to the parties? The answer is no. Then which courts can do this? 1, it is High Court, and the next one is District Court. These two courts at any stage can do this. Under section 24, you have subsection 1, and under this subsection 1, you have a subclause A. Let us see what section 24(1) subclause A states. This particular clause states that the High Court or District Court can transfer a suit, appeal or proceeding. But the requirement is that that suit or appeal or other proceeding should be pending before the court for trial. Then it can be transferred to any other court for trial or disposal. But the requirement is that the court to which it is transferred should be subordinate to it. And that court should be competent court. Two things. It should be subordinate, it should be competent. Let us move to B. The court, that is the High Court or the District Court, can withdraw any suit, appeal or other proceeding pending in any court subordinate to it. It can withdraw the suit, appeal or other proceeding. Then it can try to dispose of the same. That is, the High Court or District Court can directly dispose the case. It can try the case directly. Or the second option is, it can transfer to any other subordinate court competent to try this case for trial or disposal. Then the third option is, it can retransfer the same for trial. For example, it is in A court and they are approaching the High Court for a transfer to B court. Then the High Court will say, see, A court is competent enough. They can try this case. We are retransferring this case to the A court itself. Let the A court try the case. This is third option. Let us move to section 24, subsection 2. Imagine a court is transferring a case from one court to another court. In that order itself, the court will say what has to be done or from which stage the case is to be taken. For example, a court is transferring a case from court A to court B. When it was in court A, trial was going. Then in that case, the higher court which is transferring the case will say, when it goes to B court, the case should be tried from the beginning or from the trial. So, the court which is transferring the case will specify as to what has to be done or from which stage the case has to proceed. Let us move to 24, subsection 3. And for this section, what you need to presume or assume is stated under this particular section. If the word additional judge is used or assistant judge is used, in that case, These two courts, that is additional judge and assistant judge, are deemed to be subordinate to the district court. A. Let us move to B. Proceeding. What it includes? Proceeding includes a proceeding for the execution of decree or order. So the simple fact is, proceeding includes any execution process or execution proceeding. Let us move to section 24, subsection 4. Imagine you have filed a case in the court of small causes and the opposite party has filed a petition before the appellate court seeking a transfer from this small causes court to some other court. And the court is also ordering in his favor. The case is transferred. It goes to some other court. Then in that case, the court to which it is transferred will also be deemed to be a court of small causes. It may be any court, but it will be considered as if it is a small causes court. Let us move to 24, subsection 5. Imagine a case is filed or a suit is filed in a court which has no jurisdiction. Then in that case, very simply, the court can transfer this case to the court having jurisdiction. So simply, if a court is not having a jurisdiction to try it, then it cannot try it. Let us move to section 25. The Supreme Court has got enormous power with respect to transferring of suits. In 25, subclass 1, they clearly say if a party is going to make an application to the Supreme Court saying that, my lordship, please transfer this case from this court to another court. And in that case, the Supreme Court will say that you give notice to the parties, to the other parties basically, and the court will hear both of them. Then the Supreme Court at any stage, that is very important here, at any stage they can transfer a case if satisfied. Because the important factor is that the court should get satisfied. Ends of justice should be met. In that case, the Supreme Court will say or direct that a suit, appeal or other proceeding can be transferred from one high court to another high court or from one civil court in one state to another civil court in another state. Let us move to section 25, subclass 2. If an application is made under this section for transfer of a suit, it shall be supported by an affidavit. Then 25, subclause 3. In case a suit is transferred or an appeal is transferred or a proceeding is transferred, it can be retried or it can be proceeded from the stage at which it was transferred. Let us move to 25, subclause 4. If the Supreme Court is going to dismiss an application under this section and the Supreme Court feels that this application itself was frivolous or vexatious, in that case, simply the Supreme Court can order the applicant to pay a compensation to benefit the person who has suffered because of this transfer application, an amount not exceeding 2000 rupees. Imagine I have filed an application for transfer in the Supreme Court. It is a vexatious or a frivolous petition. The court identifies this. Then the court will say, I have to pay an amount not exceeding 2000 rupees. It could be 1000 rupees, 1500 rupees, 1750 rupees, 1999 rupees also. Then the court may order that particular amount, whatever the court is stating to be paid, should be paid to the person who has suffered because of this application. Let us move to 25, subsection 5. The law which is applicable to a suit, appeal or other proceeding which is transferred shall be the same from which it was transferred. To put it in a simple manner, if there is court A and court B, case is transferred from court A to court B. In that case, the law which is applicable to the suit, appeal or proceeding will be the same as it was used in A. So B will apply the same law which was applied by court A. Let us move to section 26, institution of suits. Every suit, whatever be the contents of it, if you are planning to file a suit, you can institute it by presenting a plaint. Or if this court is going to say like you need to do it in a different manner, then you have to do it in a different manner. Otherwise, in general, if you're planning to file a suit, it should be by way of presenting a plaint. And in every plaint, the facts shall be proved by an affidavit. This is given, but in many cases they don't do it. They just simply file the plaint. In some courts they do accept, in some courts they do demand a affidavit. The affidavit which is filed shall be in the form and manner prescribed under Order 6 of Rule 15A. If you like the video, please do press the thumbs up button and leave your comments in the comment section. And do subscribe the channel and also share the channel with your friends. Let us join hands together and contribute for a learned society. Thank you.